what it actually is without having to teach them Max.
I can't even explain to my children what
I'm getting it free.
Okay, thanks. All right, so yeah, here's our.
Wait, start. Who are you? And then start.
I'm Chase. This is Andrew. And then start.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a couple of things here. We got the Monome, the Mojo, and our little drum machine. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
Take her away.
Just back away, just put the difficulty up and let it go.
Love the difficulty slider.
Yeah, that was.
We were initially planning on getting in a duel on stage, and then both of us passing away, and then having the music stop.
The musician, the performer dying, and the music stopping.
All right, that's cute. So tell us about your project.
Yeah, so the first thing we did was we knew we wanted to do something Monome related and figure out how this thing works,
which was the hardest part.
That was by far the hardest part because it's not MIDI. It has its own like syntax and stuff. We just had to like learn it from scratch. And then here I can blow this up a little and show you the spaghetti. Then we decided to just make a sequencer with it, figure out how to. So here we have our Monome section. the most difficult part was getting it to toggle when we click a light or something, getting it to stay on. It was really easy to get it to to the point where you just hold it, but we had to use some of our list making skills and packing and unpacking, and I had to learn how to use the jitter matrix object, which is that black thing there that shows all the different cells. So it actually had to store it in the patch, and there's
a lot of work.
There was a lot of work in that, and then we just have a sequencer that looks at that jitter matrix to figure out which notes to play when. It just sort of counts through the matrix, and I had these little. I made some abstractions that just get the row and everything from the matrix, and you can see that. So a lot of the stuff we've been doing, almost everything we've been doing, applies here.
Yeah, and then what else?
And then we started to we wanted to map the Mojo as well, because we wanted more than just the Monome. The Mojo is super easy. It's all MIDI controls. So all we have are these this MIDI parse object. To everything that has a variable output, we have a route object, and that just routes the control signal. For everything that's just straight bang, or for anything all these buttons that just do the chord changes, we just have a cell object, so we didn't need to get the actual control values from it. We have our chords in here.
You never filled out the mystery chord.
No, we didn't do this.
Move.
And then we have the one of the really fun parts was the difficulty setting. So basically what it does is, if you let's pump the difficulty up all the way, and then just watch. I'll just do a great thing across there, and it slowly deletes whatever you have played. So if you want to keep a pattern going, you have to watch it and make sure that you put it in, otherwise it's going to die. It doesn't do the bottom row. It doesn't delete anything from the bottom row, just so you can, I don't know, if that seemed helpful.
And there's a bunch of little stuff too.
Yeah, the last thing on the difficulty was the slider determines how often it'll delete parts of your sequence.
Can you tell us about your roles, Chase? You were running the Monome. Andrew, you were
Yeah, I was doing the chord changes over here. I just put in some fun modal interchange chords.
So, but you're using two laptops, right?
No.
Nope, it's all in one.
All in one laptop. Okay.
This is a hardware drum machine.
Okay,
this
I was gonna
my biggest role in the project was figuring out how to have a MIDI clock out of Max into and then clocked it up into this.
I was gonna say you wrote.
I wrote the chords and stuff.
Anyway.
But okay, I was just interested in the interactions. So these two controllers, which are just generating data, are interacting with each other.
Yeah. So you can change the chords of what's happening on the sequencer with these buttons on the Mojo, and then we have this rotate button, which is pretty cool. It inverts the series of MIDI notes that are in the message box. Yeah.
Watch that happening. Can you see where my mouse is on the screen? Yeah. So this list right here is just the MIDI notes from the chords. So just load up the first chord, and when he rotates the rotate object, it just rotates that list so that this sequence, if I have the lowest note here and a middle note.
So this is on original. Now it's inverted, so the higher one's up top, and you can run it through the list, so you can get any notes in the chord scale.
The thing that I like about this is it was really kind of true data interaction between both of you simultaneously, which is really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, and then there's a couple more little things, there's a little feedback delay that we figured out how to make, which just has a basic time control and a feedback control and an on-off switch, which is a pretty cool system.
Yeah.
One last question, I guess. In doing your project, do you feel you had this assignment, you have to realize this stuff, it's not something that was dictated to you in class. How did this help your understanding of Max? Were you able to solve problems?
I would say the biggest thing that I learned from this was like just the thought process that you need to solve a problem in Max, and discovering, like, I had to discover how to use that jitter matrix object, and without that I wouldn't have been able to, we wouldn't have been able to have this project. So it really like you know, brought home the idea of like how to discover new objects in Max and how to figure out the solutions to whatever problems.
So the technique that we spent so much time in the beginning of the semester about how to format messages, do you understand? Rather than like teaching you objects, like this object does this.
Yeah.
How to format messages to communicate with objects, and then letting you figure out what objects to use.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.